Hello! So we're finally starting to see some growth in the garden, and I would like to show you a little tour of some updates and things we have going on. It is June 1st. I had to think about that for a second because I can't believe we're already in June. But yeah, I am kind of out in the garden weeding today, trying to get some new weed growth taken care of. But along with that, we have some growth with some of our seedlings and plants, and I can kind of show you what's going on. So let's dive in. So heading into the garden here, we have, as you can see, a broken door. That needs to get fixed, and it's just kind of there for the moment. These are actually strawberries from last year that came back this year. They were in the ground, so there must have been some sort of leftover, I guess, roots in the ground. So I pulled these three up, which were the ones that I found, and there was this little strawberry guy, which it's doing the same thing. Something's nibbling on it, and I don't know what. And these have not helped. So same thing happened last year, not quite sure, but I'm hoping that like it'll do what it did last year and it'll just kind of like vine itself through the rest of the planter, because the actual plants I bought last year died. So that's that. Then we have asparagus, and this had gone to seed, so I cut it off, and I really wasn't sure how that was gonna go. I've heard that they come back and they replenish, but I've never seen it before or experienced it, so I was kind of bummed thinking that that was not going to occur, but we already have one that has. So this is one that we can actually cut and eat. So, but I'm thinking I need to get more asparagus because it just seems like this is so little now that I'm seeing how it grows. So I'm thinking I'm gonna need to get some more asparagus. And then we planted a raspberry bush. So this is Jonathan's special purchase. It's a Latham red raspberry, which I was not going to do because I was hoping that they would, the ones we planted last year, would come back, and they haven't. And now I will never buy another raspberry or blackberry that is just a stick like this one, because it never did anything. I will always get one that has greenery on it. So these got overwatered because my lovely 5-year-old son accidentally turned the sprinkler on and left it going, so I'm hoping that these will not die. But we've got lavender in this pot, and there's a couple little sprouts, and then marigolds in this one. And I've got my sun gold tomato that we purchased the plant of last year, and I saved the seeds. So that's what those are. And then I'm supposed to have my butterfly pea coming up on this trellis. That's why I got the trellis. And they didn't do so great, and when I tried to do it inside, so I put them out here, and I don't know what they look like, to be honest. So we'll see what happens. I'm just leaving the weeds for now until I can kind of see how things grow up. We've got an actual lavender plant I bought, since I have not been able to have lavender yet. We've got a peony that did not come back as strong as I would have hoped it would have by now. Actually, I'm wondering if that's one of the peas, like if it got pushed down, that actually might be one of them. Let's see, I don't see another one. I thought I planted them closer to the trellis. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. But that might be one. That looks kind of like it could be. So, anywho, my lilac totally died. So that is such a bummer. My rose bush has not come back either. So I know you're supposed to prune roses. I have not had time to research that. So maybe I need to do something there, and that's why. But I did not plant chamomile this year, and I've got chamomile, baby chamomile sprouting up all over the place. And then I have another little baby peony, which is not coming back as strong as I would have hoped. This other rose bush. And like, there's little things from last year that I planted that I'm kind of hesitant to get rid of the weeds for. Like, I'm pretty certain these are daisies, the Shasta daisies, but I don't know 100% for sure. And those are supposed to be perennial, so I'm assuming that's what's going on there. And then another lilac that died. And then here's another lavender that I purchased. This kind of area is a mix because I planted a bunch of echinacea seeds at the end of last year, hoping that they were gonna come up. And I have no idea what echinacea starts to look like. So I'm, again, just kind of leaving this area to let it go. But this peony did really great. And so did this one over here. So, I don't know. But, yeah, there's some greenery, some weeds coming up that I'm just kind of like, this guy and that guy I haven't seen before. These might be kind of new. Like, those are weeds I don't recognize. And then there's also some little sprouts here that make me wonder. I'm really hoping some echinacea comes up, but I would have thought that it would have been bigger by now if it were going to, because I really want echinacea. But the bee balm was just tiny last year, and then it spread, and it's looking beautiful, coming up really nice and strong. And then we've got our bunnies over here. Hello, Mimere. Hello, Nightingale. Hi, babies. I know you guys need to get out and run around. I'll get you out in a minute. And then this is the hydrangea I got from my mom last year, and that's getting big and pretty. It filled out a lot more than what I had last year. And then all of my hostas have filled out a ton, like an absolute ton this year. So, like, I mean, they could really get split. I mean, you'll see. I cut the grass back, which is not something I did last year, and I'm hoping that that'll help it to grow, and it looks like it must have, because this is where I would have cut it with the brown, and the green looks longer, so I think it is growing. And then I planted a bunch of celosia seeds, and I have no idea what those baby starts look like either. So this is another one of those gardens that I'm kind of letting go for a little bit. And then our lilies, which are so pretty. They're doing really great. They've also filled in and grown a lot. So I don't know what happened from last year, which was horrible, to this year, but I mean, everything looks so much more full this year and is doing so much better. This is my new, I can't really say it's new, it's a year old, but this is my hibiscus, and I overwintered it, and it started blooming, and it's done fine, it's done good. So I'm excited when it will be full again with leaves. You can see the new growth that's coming on them. And this bloom just went. There's a couple more right here. And then, yeah. So, and then we finally got our hose box out and installed. And then I moved that hosta over here because this hosta was dug up and killed as a result of the chickens. So you can see these aren't new. I don't remember seeing these before. At least not flowers like that. That's interesting. I don't remember them looking like that when they came up last year. And then this little guy is much smaller because he was hurt too last year with the chickens. Chickens totally destroyed this, if you remember. So, and then down here, I planted a bunch of tulip bulbs that I have no idea if they will come up next year because they were not in the best shape. So we'll see. I also planted snapdragons in this garden and some dahlias and some hollyhocks. And so we'll see if those end up coming up. I'm not quite seeing, these are all weeds. I'm not quite seeing anything that would resemble them right now. So I don't think that they've made it up yet. The hollyhocks are supposed to be here. And when I got them, I wonder if this is one of them. I think this might be. Yay, it came back. So this is a hollyhock that I thought died. And so we'll see if any others, I don't know what this guy is, that they were sent to me in the middle of winter. And I ordered them on gurneys. And so I planted them, but they like didn't do well. So I don't know, we'll see. But that is that. I'm not sure how great it showed it in past videos, but this whole area had a ton of brush. And not only that, but it was also our wood pile, which got moved to the back, if you can see that. So Jonathan actually cleared this out yesterday, and it's really nice to see this space opened up. It also, I think, makes the coop and the run look really nice. I'm thinking we might put a table and move this, if we can even get it, because it kind of looks like it's broken right now. If we can get this gazebo thing moved back and then put a table under it or something like that, kind of make it like a little seating area. But here are the birds. We need to get some more straw and lay that down. But our babies are getting bigger. Look at our little guinea fowl over there. I love their feathers. They're so cool with their black and white little speckles. Hello, babies. Hi, Rambo. Hi, buddy. We've got Henrietta and Rosella over there in the corner. Hello, Bardock, baby. Hello, girl. I know. We need to get you guys some hens. Some hay. Hey. Yes. What you got to say? What you got to say? This actually, this like T-post thing, was one of the random oddities we found when we were clearing brush back. And it was actually like, well, it was here most recently in this area, but I think we drug it out from back in the woods somewhere when we were moving things, or maybe it was there, I don't remember, but it got moved while we were cutting brush and trees down and stuff. And oh my goodness, yes, what do you have to say? So that's all about repurposing. Hello, ladies. Hello. Yes. And then we have some more grass coming in back here, which is kind of the goal, is to get this whole back area filled in with grass. And that's kind of happening around this tree, which is nice. We're just kind of letting it be doing its thing. Yeah, you can see these are still, like, this needs more dirt, and there's a ton of weeds in here too. But I did fill in this hosta. This was part of the hosta that was up front where we put the hose box in. I moved it back here because that was where they dust bathed last year, so I filled in that gap. But we still have like hostas that are coming in as really small this year because of being attacked and eaten or whatever, scraped out. So that's that. So I labeled everything. We've got chives that are supposed to be growing in here. And there's some little greenery in there, but I don't know if those are weeds or not. We've got cilantro, of course, and Landon's snake. That's just like left out to rot and die, I guess. And then this, I'm pretty sure, is arugula that somehow got, I don't know what the deal is. I guess I didn't realize I crossed them like that. So then I added more arugula here, which these babies are growing. And these are philodendrons. And then parsley is growing here. And basil's growing here. And you'll notice the difference from last year. I don't have any marigolds because we haven't gotten any pests really in our yard. So there's no need. No bunnies except for the ones that we've intentionally brought in. So I have moved the signs to the front to read them now, and there won't be any contenders for the sun and space like there was last year with the peppers that were down there and they were not getting as much sun as they needed to. So, but anyway, parsley, basil, there's no mint. I could not find my seed packet of mint, so I need to get more. And then sage is planted here, and dill is planted here, and dill was not supposed to be planted here. I had to kind of swap a couple things just a little bit because dill was already coming up from, I guess, seeds from last year, so I kept dill in this spot. And actually, I wouldn't be surprised if these are basil, because the basil was planted here. But yeah. So then we have thyme, and I think maybe those ones, I don't know if it's coming up yet. And then stevia, I did not have a whole lot of seeds in the packet, and they did not germinate. So there's no stevia planted right now. And then what is here? Lemon balm. I don't know what lemon balm looks like, so I'll have to look that up. Right now it just kind of looks like weeds. It doesn't look like anything there has germinated. Rosemary's in here. I don't see anything yet, but that's also one of the recent plantings. Vulgare oregano. Maybe that. Otherwise it doesn't look like it's germinated. And this might be oregano here. So yeah, it looks like so far the arugula has done the best from the plantings. So this is like a whole section of oregano, but there's two different types. There's the vulgare oregano, which is more traditional, and then wild za'atar, I believe, is this WZ oregano I have. And that is like a really old sort of, I don't want to say ancient oregano, but it's from Israel, from biblical times. And you know what that, nope, those look more like it. So I'm thinking there might be a couple sprouts of oregano going on there. And then this space is Landon's garden, of course, and I did clear it out as much as I could when I was able to get in here, but nothing's been planted yet. And then these tomatoes are a bunch of, now I'm trying to think, they're not Romas, they must be grape, that were just hanging out over where they were last year. So I moved them in here for the time being because I don't know how great my starts are going to be this year. So they're kind of my backup. And then here's some calendula that seem to be doing pretty well, even with the overwatering. So here we are in the vegetable garden. Onions are looking fabulous. These are onion starts we bought from, I don't know. Where did we buy them from? Tractor Supply maybe? I can't remember. But they're looking to be doing really nicely, which is better than what I could say for anything that I did last year. And the carrots are coming in nicely, although this whole section is like missing. So I don't know if a bird came in and got them or what. But, and then I had planted some beans, some pole beans over here that were supposed to trellis on my apparently broken trellis. And I've not seen them come up, so I don't know. It might just be not the right conditions yet. And then over here, these are yellow pear tomatoes that, again, were left over from last year's plant. Like, the seeds apparently got in the ground and then they germinated and they're just kind of hanging out. So we'll see. I'm not quite sure. I don't really have space for them. I was not planning on having them this year. But then we have, these are our Titan sunflowers. So they have all seemed to germinate. Ooh, and look at this. We've got some corn. So corn's coming up. This is the glass gem corn, and as you can see, here's some more of those tomato sprouts that apparently a bird or something, or the chickens or whatever. And then there's some more of our corn. This is just the sweet corn, but it looks like all of this has germinated here, all these little guys. So that's what we have going on there. And my cute little tractor representing corn. You know how that goes. And then I've got cucumbers trellised this year. So on this side are the slicers, and on this side are the pickling cucumbers. So they have started coming up. And then these babies are, I'm pretty sure, again, all of these tomatoes that you see in cups are ones that have just sprouted from last year. And these are, I'm pretty sure, Brad's Atomic tomatoes based on their location, but there's no way of knowing, what any of them are for sure. I don't have any of the tomatoes actually in the ground yet, which this is where they'll go. They'll get trellised here. And then I just planted pole beans here, which I had not intended on doing. I ended up losing a trellis side for Romas to the pole beans because that trellis over there is broken, which is where I had planned for them to be. So I put loofahs here, which I'm not expecting to have showed up because I had just planted those, and I just planted these guys too. So I'm not expecting either one of them to have germinated, especially because the loofahs need a lot of heat. So I don't think it's warm enough to see anything coming up yet there. The kale, the broccoli, the cabbage, and the cauliflower, this is like my brassica bed, and I can put a covering over it if I start getting cabbage worms, which I am fully anticipating to get this year, as for every year, because I always get them. So I can just kind of, this just depends on if I have the time, right? If I actually do it. But the plan is, if everything goes according to plan, when we do get the cabbage worms, I'll just put a covering over it, like a plastic, and kind of anchor it down. So yeah, so we got kale, we've got broccoli, cabbage, and cauliflower, and you can kind of see they're all coming up. These babies are right there, and there's one in the middle there, so this bed needs to get weeded. And the cauliflower's coming up. So, and then we've got lettuce, and we have beets and radishes, and I did kind of sporadically just, I don't know, toss them in. So they probably aren't doing the best because of that. But I think that these guys with the little red stems are the beets, and that's what we're looking for here. And then I'm assuming that these are the radishes here. The spinach, I don't have any idea what's going on with the spinach because it all just kind of sprouted on the line I made instead of actually being in the section that it was supposed to be in. So I don't know if it just didn't sprout because of weeds or what. Over here is supposed to be celery, and I'm not quite sure what I'm looking for there. So I'm kind of keeping an eye out for that too. But all the garlic is here and it seems to be doing pretty well. So yay for that. Over here, Kajari melons, which again, I just planted those, so I'm not expecting anything, and it also needs more heat to germinate. And then in the middle, spaghetti squash. And I did not see any the other day. Let's see if any have popped up since. Oh, it looks like no. Oh, here we go, found them right here. So here's the spaghetti squash. I don't see any others that have come up yet. These guys might be little baby ones. And then the zucchini are right there. So zucchini's coming up. So this side of this bed has onions, and these are onions that were from last year that got left behind, and I have no idea if it's kind of an experiment. We're gonna keep an eye out for them. There are starter onions here that are starting to come up, and then I sprinkled some seed onion for yellow parma because none of my yellow parma onions did good from seed. So I sprinkled them down to see if they would do better in the ground, and it's a super late start for them, but I'm gonna cross my fingers and see how we do with that. I also have ground cherries that are planted in here. So I would expect to start seeing them very soon because I'm fairly certain a bunch of little babies have started popping up in the garden where they were last time. So yeah, I would expect to start seeing them very, very soon, which they look kind of like weeds to me. They kind of remind me of these guys, but I think they might be, like that might be one of them. So it's a little bit hard to tell. They have some like kind of like rounded leaves, but I would expect that they'll be popping up very soon. Sun gold tomatoes are gonna go here against the fence. They are not in the ground yet. They're in the pot I showed you before. And then this is the jalapeno plant from last year that I overwintered, and it is doing really well. It's got some blossoms on it, so we should start seeing some fruit soon. And then I planted some actual jalapeno seeds, but I am not quite seeing that any have popped above the surface yet. And then this guy is the banana pepper, and I'm pretty sure she's dead. I don't know why. She had enough sun, she had enough water, but she didn't seem to make it. So I think she's just a stick. And I don't have any banana pepper seeds, so I might go get another banana pepper plant and see what we can do there. Over here, this was the pepper plant, the bell pepper plant that I had overwintered for the last 2 years, and it survived last year's overwinter. It has not survived this year's. I have put both of these plants out here with tremendous amount of hope, but I do not have high expectations. But I did plant some additional pepper plants, so we'll see. And I did do starts over the winter, but not the greatest. So then we've got a big Brussels sprout that Landon and Jonathan really wanted to buy, so that's in the ground. And then actual Brussels sprouts seeds were planted. There's a bunch of little of these guys, and so I don't know if that must be them, but I don't know what all these little baby things are. So I don't know if those are just weeds or what. Let's see, they look like they're coming up. Yep, there's some over there. Oh yeah, there they are. They're where I remember planting them now. And then this is the area where I put some dragon beans. They're bush beans, but they look so cool. So I'm like stoked to see how they turn out. But I'm pretty sure like all these little babies that you see here are the ground cherries. And so I haven't wanted to get rid of them yet because, again, if they don't do well over there, then I might just transplant. So I'm leaving them for the time being. But yeah, dragon beans are supposed to come up here, but I just planted them, so they would not have come up yet. Last but not least, these are my potato bins this year. So they have sprouted and are coming up to the top. There's about, how many did I plant? At least three to six in each of them. So, no, cover that potato back up. Cover it up, cover it up. Okay. Yeah, so I think that's all she wrote. I think that's it.